A recent study by Christianity Today magazine shows that Christian women generally don't think that Christian men are as charming, as attractive, or as assertive as the unchurched men or unbelievers. This does not mean that Christian women dislike Christian men. What this means is that Christian women want Christian men to show up strongly and be the men that God has called them to be, especially in the area of relationship and marriage and how they relate with the women in the church. When Christian women say that Christian men are boring, it doesn't mean that they hate Christian men. What it means is that a Christian woman has a spec and they want you to fit into that spec beautifully. Of course, there are some things that are unrealistic in the spec. What is basic is that your personality should not just be your spirituality. You are spiritual, you are a Christian, but you should be other things. You should be motivated, you should be driven. Your spirituality should be the foundation of their personality. It should not be the finished building. It should not be everything. A Christian woman who wants to date a Christian man is not necessarily looking for a pastor. He's looking for a partner that he can play with, that he can talk with. He can talk football, real estate, investment, mutual funds. You should be informed. You should be vast. You should be versatile. You should understand a lot of things. It shouldn't just be about praying or reading the Bible or speaking in tongues. And those are wonderful things. Those are very good things. But if all you do with the girl you want to get married to is pray, speak in tongues, study the Bible, there are layers of their life that you cannot meet. And they want to meet you at different layers. The part of you that prays very well, that's good. The part of you that can study the Bible and teach the Bible. But then there has to be the part of you that understands investment. There has to be the part of you that can talk about leadership, talk about politics, understand community, understand even parenting. If everything about you is just praying in tongues, spirituality, and there's no other part of you, you are going to be boring. Christian women say, we don't like that. We want our men to show up as all-rounders. They are strong leaders like David. They can pray, they can fight. David was an all-rounder. David wasn't just about praying in tongues and teaching Bible. And that's the kind of men that Christian women today are looking for. The second point that Christian women say that they don't like, they're not comfortable with, they actually hate, is when you use God said against them. God said you are my wife. God said you should get married to me. God said this, God said that. Or pastor said, or this person said. Of course, God can say, anybody can say. But that's not how to, you go to a girl today, you say, God said you are my wife. That's not a good way. That's not a social way. That's not an acceptable way to introduce a relationship, to introduce a marriage proposal, to approach a young woman. Just come to her today and say, God said you are my wife. Or maybe I saw you in a dream where I saw you where we are getting married. There are different versions of this. Whichever version that is familiar with you or that you know, women don't want you to come to them and use it on them. Don't go to a woman and say, God say you are my wife. Get friendly with them, date them, get to know them. You may go to them to say, God say you are my wife, and they are getting ready to get married next month to another man they've been in a relationship with. Before you go to a woman, get friendly with them, approach them, talk to them, know them, date them, get somewhere with them, get a drink and start to talk to them and build a relationship based on friendship. Don't just barge in on somebody and say, God say. It will turn them off. It doesn't attract them to you. It turns them off. It's not charming. It's not romantic. Men in the world don't do that, and you shouldn't do that because it doesn't work. Even in the Christian community, it's not how to do it. And Christian women just it. The third point that most women, Christian women, say they don't like about dating Christian men is if you want to pursue a woman, you want to woo a woman, you want a relationship with a woman, they want to be pursued. Let me tell you something. Women enjoy being pursued. And I'm not talking about being promiscuous. If you admire them, if you are attracted to them, you need to flirt with them, you need to talk to them, you need to tell them you love them, you want a relationship with them, tell them you want a relationship with them. The woman wants to be pursued, not preached to. Preaching to her is not pursuing her. You want to pursue her, tell her, oh, I love your dress, I love your blouse, I love this, I love your eyes. You know, they want you to talk to them. Let them know why you love them. Let them know that you love them. They enjoy that. Women enjoy being admired. Women enjoy attention. If you go every day preaching to them, telling them about this, telling them about that, it's good spiritually. Maybe you are doing discipleship, but you're not pursuing them. And they know what you want is to pursue them. And you are not doing it right. Women want Christian men. Christian women want Christian men. When they're interested in them, go to them, pursue them the way a strong man pursues a woman. They love that. They remember that many years, even after they got married, how you pursued them, how you came to them, how you showed them that you love them. Don't come to them and preach some scriptures and quote some scriptures and show how good you are with scriptures. You are not pursuing them. You are being very passive. Passivity looks like weakness. The fourth thing that Christian women hate about dating Christian men is that sometimes when a Christian woman is relating well with a Christian man, they can easily assume that to be a relationship. Of course, relating well with you can lead to a relationship, but it does not automatically mean a relationship. You can relate well with somebody, maybe share a meal, maybe share your snacks, share a car. You ask them about how are you, how is your job, how is your accommodation issue, how about your family. But that doesn't mean that you are currently, as it is, in a relationship. You are not in a relationship. And Christian women want you to know that. A lot of Christian men assume, some Christian women do it too, assume that because you are relating well with them, you are in a relationship. They want you to know that that's not so. If you want to be in a relationship, you need to talk about relationship, define relationship, and say we are in a relationship, a marriage relationship. You are dating for marriage. Don't assume that we're in a relationship relationship just because you relate well. That sounds like weakness. It doesn't sound like meekness. Men need to get this very, very straight. If you want to be sure that you're in a relationship, tell the woman that I want a relationship. I want to get married to you. So she knows that you're in a relationship that could lead to marriage. The last point is the scripture says the children of this world are sometimes wiser than the children of light. And that shouldn't be so. The children of the world should not be wiser than the children of light. The children of light are the men in the church. And the men in the church should be wiser than the men outside. When the men outside seem to be wiser than the men in the church, the women in the church will tend to follow the men that are outside. And that shouldn't be so. So the men that are in the church should be strong, have a passion, have a goal, have a drive, have a purpose, have strong leadership skills. And that's not just enough. They should be able to communicate this leadership skill, this passion, this purpose, these goals to the women in the church so that the women in the church will feel we are dating the right people by dating the men in the church. It is important here to point out to the women in the church that they should not think, they should not mistake the meekness of the men in the church as weakness. Meekness is not always weakness. There are a lot of people in the church that the meekness comes out as weakness. And there are men that are outside the church that are reckless, and the recklessness comes out as boldness. Sometimes when we mistake it, the recklessness comes. You date them, if you marry them, in marriage, you still see the recklessness. So it's very important for the women in the church to be able to discern and know that the meekness of the men in the church is not always weakness, and the recklessness of the men outside the church is not always boldness. If you're a returning viewer, I want you to subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you're new to this channel, my name is Forward, JP Forward. See you in the next one.